Hello, my name's Jane West and I'm an independent physiotherapist. I thought it might be useful to have a little chat about using bike riding and the skill of bike riding. There's a lot of children that find this quite a difficult activity to do, and actually while you're at home this might be something that you could perhaps work on, particularly with children who have coordination difficulties or balance difficulties, and the bike riding is quite a hard skill for them to learn. So just going to talk a little bit about why children want to do bike riding, why some children find it quite hard, and then talk through some strategies that might be useful to work with the children. So why do children want to do bike riding? Well, there's quite a strong motivational factor to bike riding. There's a sense of achievement, there's a sense of fitting in with their peer group, it improves their general fitness, and also it can be a family activity. And it also helps them to burn off calories and burns off steam as well, so that they become tired and therefore not as wound up. It also provides a lot of proprioceptive feedback for them. So why do some children find bike riding really very difficult to master? Well, if a child is posturally unstable, or if they've got poor balance, lack of coordination, poor spatial awareness, they find difficult with failure, they don't like to do things where they fail, they have fatigue easily or get upset easily, then a lot of these things play into them trying to learn to bike ride and makes it quite difficult for them. So what sort of children are we talking about that might have difficulties with this skill? Often it's children who've got things like ADHD, ASD, some form of learning difficulty, often children with mild cerebral palsy or Down syndrome. They're the group that often can find it quite difficult. Now most children learn to ride a bike by the age of 5, whereas some of these children might be quite a lot older than that and still haven't really grasped how to do this. So they've tried with stabilisers, but they failed without. And they really want to do the skill, and their parents are really keen for them to learn as well. So those are two quite important factors. When we're thinking about bike riding, we do need to think that it's obviously quite a risky activity, and so you need to make sure you've got the following precautions. So you need to make sure that you've got a helmet that fits, you need to make sure that the child is wearing long sleeves and long trousers, that you're in a safe environment, that's got a good surface. Grass is not a great surface for doing bike riding on. You need to make sure that the children understand about braking quite quickly in the process, and also that they can understand what can go wrong and how they deal with that. And also that the progress may be quite slow, and that's fine, you just need to work within that. If you've got a much bigger child that's learning to ride a bike, you may need 2 adults, one either side of the child on the bike, to help to stabilise them. So be sensible about that if you need 2 people to use that. So what sort of bike do you need? Really the basic bog standard bike that you can find. Choppers and bigger heavier bikes are actually more difficult, although they've got wider wheels, they're actually more difficult to move around. Often a bike that's actually slightly too small for them can be quite useful to start with, so that they can get their feet to the ground, and also to make sure that their hands can actually span the brakes, so that they've got a chance of being able to pull the brakes when they need to. Need to make sure that they've got good pumped up tyres, and that the chain is working and everything, so the bike is in a good state of repair. Avoid anything with fixed wheels or anything that's a flat pack type bike. Those tend to be more difficult to use. You need a good amount of space to do it. Now some people won't have gardens, and parks obviously are more difficult at this time, but if you have got the space, then use the space that you've got. So how do we actually start this process off? So initially we start without the stabilisers and without the pedals. Now I use this, which is from Halfords. It's a 15mm spanner for taking the pedals off. So Halfords then will have those things available within their bike section. So you need to take the pedals off to start with, and to take any stabilisers off. So really you're inherently making it into a balance bike, like the much younger children use. Take a step-by-step approach, break the task down, make sure that they're achieving at each stage of the task, and don't progress them too quickly. Initially, if you can, and you're in an area where you can do this, do it with the child going down a slight incline, so they've got a bit of momentum with them when they're moving, so that will help, so they can really get the idea of the steering and the balance that they need to do. Another really important thing is not to hold the bike. I think a lot of us always automatically hold the bike and therefore do the balance work for the child. You can hold the child to give them a bit of support and a bit of reassurance, but try and avoid actually holding the bike. Make them responsible for manoeuvring the bike and steering the bike and working out where they need to go, rather than you doing it for them. Make sure you get the success at each level, and make sure that you can then boost their confidence from one level to the next. And really it boils down to practice, practice, practice. What I'll include in this video is a breakdown of a 4-day plan to master bike riding, from day 1, 2, 3, 4, and it gives you an idea of the sort of things that you would then progress your child through. But initially the steering and the braking are the most important bits before they get into actually having the pedals back on and starting to use that. So you could almost do 2 days without them actually using the pedals at all, and they may need to do longer than that. So I hope that's helpful. I hope it's given you some ideas of some skills to sort of think about while we've got the nice weather, and you can have a look at the breakdown of the day-to-day activities. Thank you.